There is a woman you have been waiting to become. And she is not waiting for permission. She is not waiting for the perfect moment. She is not waiting for someone to finally see her worth. She has already decided. She has already chosen herself. And here is what no one tells you about her. The habits that made her powerful. They are not loud. They are not obvious. Most people will never even notice them. But you will feel them. Every time she walks into a room, you will feel something different about her. Today, I want to show you exactly what those habits are. But before we talk about what those habits are, I need you to understand something deeper first. Why does this even matter? Why should you care about becoming a high-value woman? Is it to impress other people? Is it to attract a certain kind of partner? Is it to prove something to the world? No. And this is where so many women get it wrong. The reason this matters has nothing to do with anyone else. It matters because of who you become when you live this way. You see, when a woman decides to raise her standards, not just for others, but for herself, something shifts inside her. Something wakes up. Something heals. She stops tolerating treatment that drains her. She stops abandoning herself to keep the peace. She stops shrinking to make other people comfortable. And when that happens, everything around her begins to change. Her relationships change. Her opportunities change. The way people speak to her changes. The way she speaks to herself changes. But here's what matters most. Her children see it. Her daughters learn it. Her sons learn what to respect. And she finally gets to live in peace. Real peace. The kind that does not depend on anyone else's mood or approval. This is not about being better than anyone. This is about being the woman you were always meant to be. And for those of us who are in our 30s, our 40s, our 50s, let me tell you something important. It is not too late. It was never too late. In fact, this might be the perfect time. Because now you have lived, you have learned. You have been through things that taught you what really matters. And that wisdom, that is your power now. So this is why it matters, not for anyone else. For you, for your peace, for your future, for the life you still get to build. So today I want to share with you 5 habits of a high-value woman. But not the habits everyone talks about, not the ones about how to dress or how to speak or how to get someone to chase you. No, these are different. These are the quiet habits, the invisible ones. The ones that happen behind closed doors inside her heart, in the small moments that no one sees. These are the habits that truly separate a woman who commands respect from a woman who is still searching for it. By the end of this video, you will understand not just what these habits are, but why they work. And more importantly, you will know exactly how to start building them into your own life. Starting today, not tomorrow. Not when things get easier. Today. Are you ready? Let us begin. The first habit is one that most people will never notice from the outside, but she knows it well. A high-value woman protects her energy, and she does it quietly. She does it without drama, without announcements, without needing anyone to understand why. Now, let me explain why this matters so much. You see, your energy is the most precious thing you own. It is more valuable than your time. It is more valuable than your money. Because without energy, you cannot think clearly. You cannot love fully. You cannot create or dream or build anything beautiful. When your energy is drained, you become a shadow of yourself. You react instead of respond. You shrink instead of stand tall. You give from an empty place, and that giving eventually turns into resentment. But here is what society has taught many of us. Society has taught us that good women give endlessly, that a loving woman pours herself out until there is nothing left, that saying no is selfish, that protecting yourself is cold. And so many of us believe this. For years, maybe for decades, we said yes when we meant no. We stayed in rooms that made us feel small. We listened to conversations that drained us. We gave our attention to people who never gave anything back. And slowly, quietly, we lost ourselves. A high-value woman understands something different. She understands that protecting her energy is not selfish. It is sacred. It is the foundation of everything else. Because when her energy is full, she can give from a place of overflow instead of emptiness. She can love without losing herself. She can be present with her children, her partner, her work, her dreams. She becomes the best version of herself. And everyone around her benefits from that. Let me give you an example. Imagine a woman named Amara. She is 42 years old. She has a career she has worked hard to build. She has children who need her attention. She has a mother who calls often, asking for help. For years, Amara said yes to everything. Yes to extra projects at work, even when she was exhausted. Yes to long phone calls with a friend who only talked about her own problems and never asked how Amara was doing. Yes to family gatherings that always left her feeling invisible and undervalued. She thought she was being a good woman, a strong woman, a woman who could handle it all. But inside, she was disappearing. Until one day, she woke up and realized something. She was tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. The kind of tired that lives in your soul. And she made a decision. She started to protect her energy. Not with anger. Not with big dramatic exits. Just quietly. Gracefully. She started leaving gatherings a little earlier, before her peace was stolen. She started letting calls go to voicemail when she did not have the space to hold someone else's problems. She started saying, "I need to think about that," instead of immediately saying yes. And something beautiful happened. The people who truly loved her, they understood. They adjusted. They respected her more. The people who did not, they slowly faded away. And in the space that opened up, Amara found herself again. She found her creativity. She found her joy. She found energy for the things that truly mattered. So here is what you can do, starting today. First, notice where your energy is going. Pay attention to which people, places, and activities leave you feeling drained, and which ones leave you feeling alive. This is important information. Start treating it as such. Second, practice the pause. Before you say yes to anything, pause. Ask yourself, do I have the energy for this? Will this fill me up or empty me out? Is this aligned with what I truly want? You do not have to answer immediately. You are allowed to say, let me think about it, and actually think about it. Third, create what I call an energy sanctuary. This is a time or place in your day where you protect your peace completely. Maybe it is the first hour of your morning. Maybe it is a quiet walk in the evening. Maybe it is a locked bathroom door for 15 minutes where no one can reach you. Find it. Guard it. Make it sacred. Because when you protect your energy, you protect your life. And a high-value woman knows that her life is worth protecting. The second habit is subtle, but powerful. A high-value woman does not feel the need to explain herself to everyone. She does not chase understanding. She does not beg for approval. She does not write long messages trying to justify her choices to people who have already decided not to respect them. Now, let me tell you why this matters. When you over-explain yourself, you are sending a message. And that message is, I am not sure I am allowed to do this. I need you to agree so I can feel okay about my decision. But here is the truth. You are a grown woman. You have lived. You have learned. You have earned the right to make choices for your own life without a committee of approval. Not everyone needs to understand why you said no. Not everyone needs to know why you left. Not everyone deserves access to your reasons. And this is not about being cold. It is not about being dismissive or arrogant. It is about understanding something very important. Your peace is not a debate. You see, some people will never understand your choices. No matter how much you explain, no matter how many reasons you give, they have already decided who you should be, and anything that does not match their picture will be wrong to them. And the more you try to explain, the more power you give them. The more you chase their understanding, the more you abandon yourself. A high-value woman does not do this. She makes her choice. She holds her ground. And she lets people think whatever they need to think. Because she knows something liberating. She does not need everyone to approve of her life. She only needs to be at peace with her own soul. Let me share a story. There is a woman named Fatima. She is 38. And last year, she made a decision that many people in her family did not understand. She ended a long engagement. From the outside, the relationship looked perfect. The man came from a good family. He had a stable career. Everyone expected the wedding any day. But Fatima knew something that no one else could see. She knew that inside that relationship, she had become someone she did not recognize. She had become small, apologetic, always walking on eggshells. And so she ended it. Her family wanted answers, long, detailed answers. Justifications. Proof. But Fatima did something different. She simply said, "This was not right for me. I hope you can trust that I know my own heart." And she said nothing more. Some people were angry. Some people gossiped. Some people said she was making a mistake. But Fatima held her ground, not with defensiveness, not with arguments, just with quiet confidence. And over time, something shifted. The people who truly loved her came around. They saw her peace. They saw her clarity. They respected her more for knowing her own worth. And the people who did not, their opinions stopped mattering because Fatima had stopped giving them power. So here is what you can do. First, catch yourself when you are over-explaining. Notice when you are writing long texts, giving 5 reasons when 1 would be enough, or repeating yourself hoping someone will finally agree. This is a sign that you are seeking approval instead of standing in your truth. And when you catch yourself, stop, take a breath. Remind yourself, I do not need everyone to understand. Second, practice short, complete responses. You do not have to be rude, but you can be clear. This is what I have decided. I appreciate your concern, but I am comfortable with my choice. I understand you see it differently, and that is okay. These sentences are complete. They do not leave the door open for debate. They are kind but firm. Third, remember this truth. The people who truly love you will trust you even when they do not fully understand you. And the people who only love you when you do what they want. That is not love. That is control. You deserve people who trust your heart, even when your choices surprise them. A high-value woman knows this, and she stops exhausting herself trying to convince people who were never willing to listen. The third habit is one that happens behind closed doors. A high-value woman invests in herself consistently, not for applause, not for attention, not to impress anyone. She does it because she knows her own value, and she refuses to let herself decay. Now, why is this so important? Because who you become in private determines who you are in public. The way you speak to yourself when no one is listening, the books you read when no one is watching, the way you care for your body when no one is looking, these private moments shape you. They build the foundation of your confidence, your clarity, your quiet power. You see, it is easy to show up beautifully when the world is watching. It is easy to dress well for an event. It is easy to speak kindly when people are listening. But what about the ordinary days? What about the quiet mornings when you are alone with your thoughts? What about the evenings when no one will ever know what you chose to do? A high-value woman does not abandon herself in these moments. She still learns. She still grows. She still takes care of her mind, her body, her spirit. Not because someone is keeping score, but because she is worth the investment. And here is what happens over time. This private discipline creates something that cannot be faked. It creates a depth, a groundedness, a quiet confidence that radiates from the inside out. People will feel it. They may not be able to explain it, but they will feel it. It is the difference between a woman who performs high value and a woman who truly embodies it. Let me give you an example. There is a woman named Grace. She is 45 years old, a mother of 2, working full-time, taking care of a household. Her days are full. Her energy is stretched. And for a long time, she told herself that she would invest in herself later, when the children were older, when work was less demanding, when there was more time. But later never came. And slowly, she began to feel disconnected from herself. She felt like she was living for everyone else, but no one was living for her. Until she made a small but powerful decision. She decided that every single day she would give herself 30 minutes. Just 30 minutes that belonged only to her. Sometimes she used it to read, sometimes she used it to walk, sometimes she used it to sit in silence and breathe. It was not a lot of time, but it was consistent, and it was sacred. And over months, something changed. She started to feel like herself again. She had more patience with her children, more clarity at work, more presence with her husband. And something else happened that she did not expect. People started treating her differently, with more respect, with more care, not because she demanded it, but because she carried herself like a woman who valued herself. And that energy was undeniable. So here's what you can do. First, commit to learning something new regularly. It does not have to be big. It could be reading one chapter of a book each night. It could be listening to a podcast while you cook. It could be watching videos like this one. But keep your mind growing. Keep feeding it with wisdom, beauty, and new perspectives. A woman who stops learning is a woman who stops evolving. And you are meant to evolve for the rest of your life. Second, take care of your body with love, not punishment. Your body is not an enemy to fight. It is a home to honor. Move it because movement feels good. Nourish it because you deserve to feel strong and alive. Rest it because rest is not laziness, it is wisdom. Do not wait until you are sick to care for your health. Care for it now while you are well. This is an investment that will pay you back for decades. Third, practice speaking kindly to yourself. This is perhaps the most important investment of all. The way you talk to yourself becomes the voice you live with every day. Make sure it is a voice of encouragement, not cruelty. When you make a mistake, speak to yourself the way you would speak to someone you love, with understanding, with compassion, with belief in your ability to do better. Because you are with yourself every moment of every day. You might as well be good company. A high-value woman invests in herself not because she is vain, not because she is selfish, but because she understands that she cannot pour from an empty cup. And the fuller she becomes, the more she has to give. The fourth habit is perhaps the hardest one. A high-value woman knows how to release what she cannot control. She does not cling to things that were never hers to hold. She does not fight battles that were never hers to win. She does not exhaust herself trying to change what will not change. She lets go with grace, with dignity, with trust that something better is on its way. Now, let me explain why this is so essential. Control is an illusion. A beautiful, seductive illusion that promises us safety and certainty. We think that if we just try harder, worry more, or plan better, we can make life go the way we want. But life does not work that way. People will disappoint you no matter how much you try to prevent it. Plans will fall apart no matter how carefully you prepare. Things will happen that you never saw coming. And if you tie your peace to controlling everything, you will never have peace. A high-value woman understands this deeply. She knows the difference between what she can influence and what she cannot. She pours her energy into the things within her power, her choices, her responses, her mindset, her actions. And she surrenders the rest, not with bitterness, not with resentment, but with a quiet faith that life is working for her, even when she cannot see how. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. And it is one of the most attractive qualities a woman can carry. Because when you are not anxious and grasping and desperate to control everything, you become calm, magnetic, peaceful. People feel safe around you because you are not projecting fear onto them. You become a source of light instead of a storm of worry. Let me share a story. There is a woman named Layla. She is 40 years old, raising a son on her own. When her marriage ended, she was devastated, not just because of the loss, but because of the feeling that she had failed, that she should have done something differently, that if she had just tried harder, things would have worked. She replayed conversations in her head. She analyzed every moment. She tortured herself with what ifs and if onlys. And she was exhausted until one day, she heard something that changed her life. She heard someone say, "You cannot make someone love you the way you need to be loved. That is not a failure. That is just the truth." And something inside her released. She realized that she had been trying to control something that was never in her control. Another person's heart. She had done her best. She had loved deeply. And still it had ended. And that was okay. It did not mean she was unworthy. It did not mean she had failed. It simply meant that this particular chapter was over. And a new one was waiting to begin. Once she accepted this, everything shifted. She stopped looking back. She started looking forward. She stopped asking what she could have done differently and started asking what she wanted to create next. And slowly, peace returned, joy returned, hope returned. Not because her circumstances changed, but because she stopped fighting what she could not control. So here's what you can do. First, ask yourself a powerful question. Whenever you feel stressed or anxious, pause and ask, is this something I can actually control? If yes, take action. Do something about it. If no, notice that you are spending energy on something that will not respond to your effort. And gently, kindly, redirect that energy towards something that is within your power. Second, practice surrender as a daily habit. This does not mean giving up. It means trusting. Each morning or each night, you can say something like, I release what is not mine to carry. I trust that I am being guided. I let go of what I cannot change and focus on what I can. This might feel strange at first, but over time, it will rewire your nervous system. It will teach your body and mind that you do not have to hold everything so tightly. Third, let people be who they are. This is one of the hardest parts of releasing control. We want the people we love to change. We want them to see things our way. We want them to be who we need them to be. But they are who they are. A high-value woman accepts this. She can love someone and still recognize that they are on their own journey. She can set boundaries without trying to change people. This is not cold. This is respectful of them and of herself. Because when you stop trying to control others, you free yourself. And you give them the space to grow in their own way, in their own time. Letting go is not about losing. It is about making room for peace, room for new blessings, room for the life you truly deserve. A high-value woman knows how to hold on. But she also knows when it is time to open her hands and trust. The fifth and final habit is one that separates the truly high-value woman from everyone else. She celebrates other women, not with jealousy hiding behind a smile, not with comparison eating away at her heart. She celebrates them genuinely, freely, because she knows that another woman's light does not dim her own. Now, let me tell you why this matters so much. We live in a world that has often taught women to compete with each other, to see other women as threats, to compare our beauty, our success, our relationships, our lives. And many of us have internalized this without even realizing it. We feel a sting when we see another woman doing well. We scroll through pictures online and feel smaller. We meet someone beautiful or successful and feel like we need to prove ourselves. But this is a trap. Comparison steals your joy. It disconnects you from your own path. It makes you look outward for validation instead of inward for truth. A high-value woman has escaped this trap. She understands that there is no competition. There is only her own journey. No one else can take what is meant for her. No one else can live her purpose. No one else can occupy her place in the world. And so when she sees another woman shining, she does not feel threatened. She feels inspired. She knows that if one woman can do it, more can. She knows that celebrating others creates more abundance, more light, more possibility for everyone. And here is the beautiful part. When you celebrate others freely, something happens inside you. You become lighter. You become more connected. You attract more of what you celebrate. Because the energy you send out is the energy that returns to you. And a woman who lifts others up, she rises herself. Let me give you an example. There is a woman named Nadia. She is 36 years old. For most of her life, she struggled with comparison. She would see friends getting married and feel left behind. She would see colleagues getting promoted and feel invisible. She would see women online living beautiful lives and feel like she was failing. And this feeling was exhausting. It kept her trapped in bitterness, always watching others instead of building her own life. Until she decided to try something different. She decided that for 1 month, she would intentionally celebrate every woman she noticed feeling jealous of. If she saw a beautiful post, she would leave a genuine compliment. If she heard about someone's success, she would send a message of congratulations. If she noticed herself comparing, she would pause and say, "Her blessing is not my loss. There is enough for all of us." At first, it felt strange, even uncomfortable. But after a few weeks, something shifted. She started to feel lighter, less burdened, more at peace with her own journey. And something else happened. Women started celebrating her back. Doors started opening. Opportunities appeared that she had not expected. Not because she was trying to get something, but because the energy of abundance attracts more abundance. And when you stop seeing other women as enemies, you realize they can become allies, supporters, friends. So here's what you can do. First, become aware of your comparison triggers. What makes you feel jealous? What makes you feel less than? What kinds of success or beauty trigger that sting inside you? These are important clues. They often point to things you desire but have not yet claimed for yourself. Use them as mirrors, not weapons. Second, practice celebrating out loud. When you notice another woman doing something well, say it, compliment her. Acknowledge her. Send a message. Leave a comment. Not because you want something back, but because you are choosing to be a woman who lifts others. And that choice changes you from the inside out. Third, remember this truth often. There is no shortage of blessings, no shortage of love, no shortage of success. Someone else's abundance does not take from you. It proves that abundance is possible. So celebrate freely, genuinely, without holding back. Because when women support each other, incredible things happen. A high-value woman knows this. And she builds other women up not because it is nice, but because it is powerful. It is how we all rise together. Now, before we close, I want to take a moment to talk to that voice inside your head. You know the one. The voice that says you should have learned this sooner. The voice that says it is too late to change. The voice that reminds you of every mistake you have made and wonders if you even deserve to become the woman we have been describing. I want you to hear me very clearly. That voice is lying. Maybe you were taught that a good woman always says yes. Maybe you were taught that protecting yourself is selfish. Maybe you were taught that you must earn love through sacrifice and suffering. Maybe you were taught that other women are your competition. Maybe you were taught that asking for more is greedy and wanting peace is unrealistic. But here is what I need you to understand. Those beliefs were given to you. You did not choose them. And now, today you get to choose something different. You get to choose to protect your energy because your peace is sacred. You get to choose to stop over-explaining because your worth is not up for debate. You get to choose to invest in yourself because you deserve your own care. You get to choose to release what you cannot control because your hands are meant to hold possibility, not fear. You get to choose to celebrate other women because there is room for all of us to shine. These are not just habits. They are declarations. Declarations of who you are becoming and the woman you are becoming. She is already inside you. She has been waiting. She is not some distant future version that you have to earn. She is here, now, waiting for you to claim her. All you have to do is begin. So let us take a moment to remember what we talked about today. 5 habits of a high-value woman, the ones no one talks about, the quiet ones, the invisible ones, the ones that truly transform your life. Habit number 1, she protects her energy quietly and fiercely. Because without energy, she has nothing to give. Habit number 2, she does not explain herself to everyone because her peace is not a debate. Habit number 3, she invests in herself even when no one is watching. Because who she becomes in private shapes who she is in public. Habit number 4, she releases what she cannot control with grace. Because holding too tightly to what is not hers only causes suffering. Habit number 5, she celebrates other women genuinely. Because she knows that lifting others only lifts her higher. These 5 habits will not change your life overnight. But practiced over time, they will change who you are. And when you change who you are, everything around you shifts. Your relationships become healthier. Your peace becomes deeper. Your confidence becomes unshakable. Your presence becomes magnetic. Not because you are trying to impress anyone, but because you have become a woman who truly values herself. And here is what I want you to remember as you go. You do not have to be perfect. You do not have to have it all figured out. You do not have to wait until life gets easier. You just have to begin. One small choice at a time. One quiet boundary at a time. One moment of self-investment at a time. That is how transformation happens. Not in giant leaps, in gentle, consistent steps. And you are capable of every single one of them. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to change. I believe in your strength, your wisdom, and your beautiful heart. You have already survived so much. You have already grown so much. And this is just the beginning. The woman you are becoming is closer than you think. She is already whispering to you. She is already guiding your choices. She is already proud of how far you have come. So keep going. Keep choosing yourself. Keep building your life with grace and intention. Because you, my dear, are not just becoming a high-value woman. You are remembering who you always were. If this message spoke to your heart today, I would be honored if you would share it with another woman who needs to hear it. Sometimes a single video can change the way someone sees themselves, and you never know which friend, sister, or stranger is waiting for this reminder. If you are not yet subscribed, I invite you to join this space. Here, we talk about becoming our highest selves, not through force, but through grace. And I would love to hear from you. In the comments, tell me which of these 5 habits do you want to start building first? And what is the one thing you will do differently starting today? Your words might just inspire another woman who is reading the comments looking for hope. Thank you for being here with me today. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your beautiful heart. I will see you in the next video. Until then, remember, you are worthy, you are enough, and you are becoming someone extraordinary with all my love.